Hey everybody, welcome back to another recap of 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way.
Yes.
We are about to be in some shit.
Moose shit? Or
well,
what is it? Caribou shit.
Caribou shit. Just ankle deep in caribou
Big
judgy shit.
nigga turds.
Yeah. So let's open with a bang, honestly.
Okay, where you want to go?
Let's open with Michael, Sarah, and Mary because I think that's a lot and it's juicy.
I have to keep reminding myself they're 23 years old, but no, also.
Yeah, because it's like I need to call somebody and I don't know who to call to like end this.
There's nobody else to call.
There's nobody
so we get some
else.
context, which still does not make it feel better.
Or make sense.
Her ex cheated on her 10 times, and she forgave him.
No.
10 times.
And I had a Nene reaction. Oh, this dick in the Philippines, and you chose
Here's
to remain.
I'm making a willful decision to not have sex. Didn't realize the girl hadn't even kissed somebody before because she had a boyfriend.
She ain't even pinched the nigga before.
She ain't tickled, okay? I don't think she sniffed the nigga before.
No, ain't even messed up a sheet, okay?
And forgave somebody 10 times. Yes, 2 hands, 5 fingers each. And I just don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, that's not for me, dog. And I don't know who told you that was the way.
And she does that thing that I hate where she be like, I realize I overreacted a little bit. Bitch, you literally were about to have him put on the no-fly list.
Yeah, I wish you overreacted because that would have made more sense. This was a full out, like, meltdown.
Yes. Yes, nigga, candle wax.
Yeah, meltdown.
Let me tell you something. Let me be a flight attendant. This is why God didn't make me a flight attendant. Because you mess around and ask me to change your seat because your girlfriend is having jealous fits. I'm putting both of y'all on the no-fly list. I'm asking for her full government, and I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to figure out a way to get both of y'all put on the no-fly list for asking me something stupid when I could have been serving somebody ginger ale.
Right, because when you ask me shit like that, that means and I overhear that means I'm looking at the exits because I know something is in the midst, if you know what I mean.
That motherfucker back there is not real.
See? People clown that white lady, but she was on to something.
Let me tell you, I really think she was sitting next to one of the things from Men in Black. I think she was sitting. I was like, was she seated by a slug? What's happening?
Do you see we got aliens among us for real?
Okay, what is happening? Because all I saw was Chica and you, and I, like, what's going on?
There's been confirmed that there
it's been confirmed.
Yeah, but like today. They did a committee and was like, there has been some aliens. What is it? Biometrics collected from a spaceship or something.
UFO hearing whistleblowers share explosive claims about alien technology.
Alien superstar. Get it? Whip.
UFO whistleblower testifies his life was threatened over secret alien tech retrieval. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So maybe
me either.
Maybe that Avril Lavigne that you just told me about, maybe she's actually an alien and not a clone.
Oh my God. So, after that episode we did, I got a text from my mother. A Facebook link.
To Avril Lavigne?
About Jamie Foxx not being the right Jamie Foxx.
Does she believe that?
No, she didn't. Okay. She was like, "This is ridiculous." I was like,
"Not your mother listening to this show."
She does listen.
So disturbing.
It's how she connects. She told me you followed her the other day, and I was like, it's probably because she finally realized.
Yeah,
who
that's
you
all it
were
was.
on
I
Instagram.
didn't realize, and I was like, oh, and so I sent her a message. That was
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a shady thing. Please, I love your mother.
No. She told me, but yeah, she sent it to me with no words at first. So I was like, and then and she was like, "This is ridiculous." I was like, "Oh, thank God."
Oh, she didn't know till I told her. See,
No.
the daughter she never had. Well,
Yeah. So, so she back to this show. So she's like, so they having a conversation because it got so bad he had to stay in Manila for a night before he gets to the.
I
part
thought
of
that
the
was just
Philippines
for
where she's
the
at.
length of time of the trek. I didn't think that was because of the fight. That nigga don't have
Oh,
no
I thought
money
it
to
was
be
because of the
making
fight.
willful decisions like staying in hotels. What?
That's very true. He has $2.50.
Exactly. Some video games and some Skittles. Like, stop.
Right. And he tells her that she's being fucking ridiculous. And her response is, and I quote, "Well, I'm not there to see you if you're talking to girls. So how else am I supposed to react?"
What in the fuck?
She is not.
Let me tell you something. Okay. So I'll get there in a second. Okay. Her daddy, her grandfather is a rice farmer. So that's what he
Beautiful
does.
farm, by the way.
Okay, it's the caribou, shiny coats. So he's a rice farmer, and their farm is fabulous. And so she goes out to have coffee with her grandparents, which all I could think to myself was, you all probably have fan-fucking-tastic coffee. I can only imagine. So she goes to have coffee with her grandparents on the stoop, and they're talking to her about, the rules and regulations of the house. They're like, I know your nigga is coming, but we still have traditions up in this bitch. And those traditions include the other person. We're just gonna go with the heterosexual relationship right now because I could only imagine the way their heads would blow up had it been anything otherwise. So the male is supposed to ask the parents or the guardians or whatever for permission before they hold hands, kiss, and touch. And so that is a bigger deal than what I even realized in the initial conversation. So yeah, they're like, yeah, he needs to come up off them questions and make sure this is okay with us before he's holding hands with you and shit. Which I'm gonna tell you why that didn't make sense to me later. But that's what they do. So she and her brother go ahead.
It didn't make sense to me either, and I'll say it right now because this is where I realized Brandan owns this farm and house. Which nobody brings that up. Like he casually mentions it like, yeah, I've given her every dime I've had, which is $60,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And for this land and to build this shit or whatever.
Because when he said, "Oh, the house that I paid for," I was like, "Well, where is it?" I didn't realize it was the house.
Yeah, it was
all
that.
living.
Yeah.
So.
And he gotta ask permission to just hold her hand.
Nigga, you gotta ask me permission. May I keep these caribou on your land, please? Like, okay. You gotta ask me permission. Also, they were sleeping in the same room later on. So that's where I was like, well, how is this supposed to work?
All right.
So anyway.
It's not.
That's a big deal, right? Keep that in mind that he's supposed to ask permission, and this is specifically about holding hands, kissing, and showing, little signs of PDA. We're not even talking about full-blown fucking at this point. So her and her brother go.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought for a second. I have to blow my nose.
We're just taking a brief break so XD can release. How were you all taught to blow your noses? I was taught to blow my nose you have to be taught to blow your nose because little kids don't know how to blow their fucking noses, right? So I was taught when you blow, you hold one side and then you hold the other. But I realized that everybody wasn't raised like that. So how were you all taught to blow your noses? I'm just curious. I also have a 2-hour tan. I went to the beach for 2 hours today. Try to get a little color in my life. Spice up my life because I'm Knuff.
Yes, I am Knuff. I'm back. So, what were you saying?
So they go on this 3-hour trek to the airport. They live 3 hours from the airport, and her brother goes with her to make sure she's safe. They take on a little Uber situation or whatever. So her brother and her have a now remember, her brother lives with his girlfriend and has 2 kids. So I also wondered, I mean, we all know how patriarchy works across the board around the land. But I did wonder, I was like, how that work when he's not married, but he got 2 kids and him and his girlfriend live together? Well, come to find out, him having those children was actually caused a lot of dissension within their family, and their grandfather did not speak to him for a year. So I'm feeling like that was something that they had to grow accustomed to. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never going to accept it. And then, of course, it's your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren, so you're not going. But they take it very, very seriously.
You know what, though? I think it has a lot to do with how they came in custody of them.
Could be that, too.
How they, you know what I mean? Like, because they talk about that in this episode, how they had to raise Mary. And they were like, damn it, we old.
Yeah.
So we was old when we got him. So,
they also Catholic.
Yeah. Yes. They big time Catholic.
So a lot of this is religious because her brother was like, you shouldn't kiss because that disappoints the ancestors. You'd be breaking the traditions of our ancestors. And, Hove went through that. So hopefully you ain't got to go through that, girl. So, like, don't be tonguing this white nigga down.
Right.
But 23 years old, they haven't seen each other. What did you think was going to happen? So they get to the airport and
he brushing his teeth and thank God.
When he said he had to freshen up, I said, that's right, baby. Go in that bathroom and hit those pits and make sure you scrape
hit the
that
hot
tongue.
spots.
You know what I'm saying? Up under your little nutsa and all of that. So they get to the airport and finally they meet for the first time because remember, they've never ever met in person. And they stayed on the phone.
Which I kind of thought was cute.
There's nothing cute about it.
It's force of habit. Like, that's all they know is the phone.
That boy felt a weight off of his shoulders when he was able to put his phone in his pocket. A weight.
Now he got to walk around with blinders.
God forbid he happened to glance any direction. Like, it's getting ready to be world where the bitch already told him don't come once he was already there. And I'll be motherfucked if I take 7 trains and planes and all kinds of shit to get to a nigga and they tell me don't come when I get there. I will burn this farm down.
Yeah.
Say less. Or I'll kick all of y'all out of there. And this is the way that colonialism and white supremacy have affected us by living in this country. Because I want to destroy your farm. If you try to destroy me.
Airbnb Philippines. What's up?
Caribou for sale, nigga. I got caribou for sale. So
caribou and rice. It's a special.
Okay. 2 for 1. It's a whole meal. So they get to the airport, and of course, she basically tells us, like, I don't give a fuck what these niggas talking about. I'm kissing him. And she does. And they kiss, and they kiss, and they kiss, and they kiss.
It turns into some John Legend, we just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they kiss, and they kiss some more, and they kiss in the cab. And remember, this is a 3-hour cab ride. And they kissing the whole time. And the brother is not hating.
Judgy brother.
Well, initially the brother's like, listen, they haven't seen each other, like, I'm Stevie Wonder to the bullshit. And then after, like, and I too, I probably would have also been a hater. Because, like, I don't want to hear y'all smacking for 3 fucking hours in this Astro van. So, after a while, he was like, sister, you're being naughty.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the brother putting Brandan on to game. Like, this is how you need to deal with my grandfather. This is what you're supposed to ask. Instead of just being a whole hating ass nigga and going in and be like, these niggas was kissing. Like,
well, I don't know, because I thought that was going to happen, because when she asked to film them, I was like, is he going to use this footage for good or for evil?
well, I wondered the same thing too. But after a while, like, what they gonna do? Because these people gonna get married. You know, these young stupid people, they're gonna get married. And so after a while, what they gonna do once they're married?
His house. It is his home.
It is his home.
Like, you know.
But this is American. Remember, we got American minds, nigga.
That's true. So he gets there to the Cribbington after 3 hours. And they greet, her grandparents traditionally. He says shit in Tagalog that he don't know what it means in English.
Yep, just saying
but
shit.
whatever. And so her grandpa, Dionisio, was like, hey, so what happened when y'all two met up?
Y'all was kissing or not?
Right. And so it's just a lot of awkward pauses and stares and ting.
And she didn't. What I'm like, you gave him the whole rundown of how to TikTok and how to greet them and how to do this and that, but you didn't tell the boy the rules before he got there. Why would you set somebody up like that?
Yeah. People like embarrassing other people as a kink, even though they find it endearing.
I did laugh when her grandmother shaded him when he got out the car and called him small.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandan is very small. So that was essentially them. That was them this week.
Yeah.
It's about to get spicy.
All right. Let's move on to some people we know. Let's go to hot gay dads. Because this won't take long. So we're touring schools for Hannah in Mexico City because remember they're doing a little trial. This is the gayest shit ever. They're doing a trial run in the city to see if they want to live there or not. Nah, that's a homosexual. They got an Airbnb for the summer. They're living a hot gay life. And
they're a privileged little set there, those two.
They are, let me tell you, PV privileged.
And Armando's little stubborn ass. Let me tell you something. Every time my mother would call me and my sister, like, you know, when our little stubborn ways were said, she goes, "You all are stubborn. That's the Mexican side, see, because y'all be stubborn."
Right. So Kenny, that's rude. That's why it's your Mexican side.
She's like, that's the Mexican side, because y'all are stubborn.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, Kenny has this idea that he is going to use Hannah as a secret weapon to influence Armando into moving to Mexico City. So Armando is more apt in this regard to moving to Mexico City in relation to educational opportunities for Hannah. Right. So they go tour this fabulous ass school. I was like, how can I apply?
What?
And the nicest teacher, Miss Pamela. And, Hannah was like, well, fuck my old school. That shit is trash.
Yeah,
sign me up for the fall.
The country.
Okay. And so Kenny was like, see, she likes it. It works. And Armando's like, hold on a second. You are looking at this through the same eyes as Hannah. You're not thinking about the adult part, the safety, what it means to move and leave. And Kitty is like, I think I created a monster because, now he's starting to stand up for himself and shit like that. And it's like, he always did, but now it's kind of like, you a little rigid, bro.
Oh, yeah. And here's my thing. Because I actually, I'll say this first. I really appreciate their communication. the both of them together.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a very healthy relationship in the way that they communicate. They both kind of acknowledge and take accountability for where they're at right now, or their self-awareness really peaks up, and they talk things out thoroughly. But Armando is using things to his advantage. He's being extra. There's crime in every major city. Anywhere in the world, there's crime in any major city. But he's using that to his advantage. And I don't know if it's because he's either A, stuck in his ways and just wants to stay where he wants to stay, or B, if he's a little scared, because he's never lived in a larger city before, and then, so he's trying to turn this into his advantage because this is his home country. Or if it's a combination of a little bit of both, but he is being extremely rigid. And not really. And I know Hannah's gonna be like the swing, but even then, I don't know.
Right. I'm gonna read a comment from one of our viewers. Okay. Hey, Alma. So Alma wrote to us and was like, as someone from Mexico City and who has lived in other small towns in Mexico, Armando is being so unreasonable. It's a very small town mindset because they can't handle city living. Yes, has there been security issues like mugging? Yes, but in the same ways it could be any city. But Kenny isn't going to live in those type of neighborhoods. If anything, they're going to live in the gentrified areas, and the hate they get will not be from typical crime. It's going to be because people are tired of white people moving to work and raising rent and prices for locals. It's relatively more dangerous to live so goddamn close to Tijuana, which is where I'm assuming they currently live, where drug and human trafficking is rampant. So she goes on to say, I see in future episodes, well, I don't know your pronouns, sorry, Alma, but Alma goes on to say, I see in future episodes that Armando's mama also inserts emotional manipulation. Yeah, they do. And so I'm calling it now. They're going to stay in their gated community. I believe that too. I don't know if they're gonna make it in Mexico City.
The only thing that tells me that they might is because of how things went with the wedding and like the father being homophobic, and it was a whole like, I don't know if he's gonna come, and I'm wondering if part of that is like I'm hesitant, and then they might actually move to Mexico City. But Alma brings out a very good point. Which is the same thing that happens here as well with people in smaller cities, in states that are not as busy as New York. And New York City is very different from New York State. But they do the same thing. Oh, New York is crime. You're going to get mugged. You're going to get robbed. You're going to get blah, blah, blah. And that can happen literally anywhere. That can happen literally anywhere. So I agree with you, actually, Alma, that he is being extra. He's being extra because he's stuck in his ways.
Yeah, and this is something I had to reckon with as I got older. Like, I made a big change at 34 too. Like, I moved across the country, and that took a lot of, and it's still taking a lot of mental work, and because it's like, change is rough, and also as you get older it's even more difficult to change and get used to everything.
Absolutely.
And it is very convenient that he could use Kenny as an excuse not to do this, because all of his stuff is rationalist, like rational-esque, like when you hear it, right? Like, safety, you don't know the language, Hannah has to adjust. All these things sound right? But yes, I also am like, girl, it's a city. It's not like you move into hell.
Right. Like, my family lives in Mexico City, and they're safe and they're fine.
It's fine. Right. And I agree with Alma. They're not moving to the hood. I'm sure they move into the Upper East Side of Mexico City.
They definitely not moving to the hood. They're never good. They don't even live in the hood of where they live right now. They live in
a gated community overlooking the ocean.
Right. Please, that is privilege anywhere. So, anywhere. So, Armando got to get a grip. Sometimes you have to adjust. And I thought he projected a smidge last week when he was like, oh, well, I don't want you to use that you've already moved and done all these things for me. Well, I mean, that's a little bit valid. It's a little bit valid. Like, he did come all the way to this country. So why not explore and be able to see other places like that he may want to try out? That's like you coming to the States and maybe like, I don't like Florida. Like, I would like to try something else. And I think that will be well within somebody's right to request. So, let's see what happens by the end of this trial run. But you know their drama is going to be minimal.
Yep, that was them. Let's move on to Scary Face and
Oh God.
Apartheid Colonel Guile. Holly and Wayne.
Her and I don't know what pill she's on. You know what? You're right. It's a cocktail.
It's a cocktail.
It's a cocktail.
It's
a binge drinking night.
Yeah.
You know them videos of Tia lately where she been like, I'm Tia Maury and this is
I've
drink
been
number
to talk to you about that. Yeah. Because I was talking to because somebody else I said it randomly on Twitter and then somebody DM'd me like I can't tell you I'll text it to you who was like, she was like, I thought I was the only one who noticed that. Like, she's crumbling.
No.
And she was like, I want to like reach out to her, but I don't know how.
You shouldn't.
She was like, I don't want to make this a thing. God, okay. Yeah.
I can't say too much because that was me with my cocktails last night. I went out randomly. And I should have done like, I am Jade, and this is cocktail number one. Okay, nigga. By the time I counted them, by the end of the night, I was like, oh, I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, you might be able to reach out to her.
Yeah. And she was like, I don't know.
You might be able to, but that was me last night, so I can't say too much.
Yeah. So, so they're driving to his crib, and they're pointing out all of the poverty on the side of the road. And of course, her mother is mortified. Of course. Because they act like they've never seen poor people before.
They're white people from
and or on television. Exactly. So, well, I don't know. JW folks, they have blinders on too, so I don't.
It could be that as well, but she's still a white woman in America to me, and middle America at that.
Right. So they pull up to his Kriznai, and it's pretty cute. You know, whatever. It's cool. I'm surprised the man lives there.
Really?
By himself? Yeah. It gave very much like old lady house. Like, but okay.
So he is now Colonel Kevin McAllister guy.
Yeah. He so they talk about sleeping in separate rooms because they're witnesses. However, he's mad and he was like, it's hard to do the right thing, which means it's really hard for me not to fuck right now.
Because
he talks about like
I would
wanting
love
to
drug her mother, put her to sleep so that I could take her to my room. And I was like, y'all are 44 years old.
Right. Listen, sexual oppression, it is rampant in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, he explains load shedding, and I didn't realize it could last up to 8 to 12 hours. I thought it was like 1 to 4 or something.
Yeah.
But no, it could happen for a good portion of the day. So he explains during load shedding, it's easier for people to loot because there's no security and shit like that. So then he decides, hold my beer. I'm going to one-up the system. He designs a pepper spray booby trap. So like if they open the door of the garage, pepper spray will just shoot out.
Very Home Alone.
Now, part of me was like, "This is genius."
Absolutely. But when you explained the tank and how to set up the pipes and everything, I was like, not mad at it.
Yeah,
but what
I'm all
happens
ingenuity.
when you need to go in your garage?
That was my first question. I'm like, what if you just fuck around and forget to flip the switch? You know what I mean?
Because that bitch she is prime territory for an accidental pepper spray. And if that pepper spray comes out the way that water did, that will kill
She will melt.
She's already going to melt. I'm concerned for her being in South Africa. Have you seen her? Right. She's melting on camera.
Well, yeah, that's why, first of all, she's wearing really heavy, dark clothing. I understand that she's super pale and she needs to, probably for sun protection and stuff. But she's wearing like a big, oversized hoodie, like she's Billie Eilish or something. You know what I mean?
So she starts breaking down.
Out of nowhere,
nigga. I was so surprised. I just was thrown off. I was like, "What's happening?" And it's sad, but then it reiterated all of our points about how white people care about animals more than niggas. So she is, having a meltdown and sobbing and breaking down in this backyard.
Like, I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all. Yeah, like that type of sobbing.
And we find out. And it's fucked up. We find out it's because the last time that they broke in after she left, they killed one of the dogs.
Yeah, that was fucked up. I laughed at first. I was like, "Bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you?"
Well, I just didn't know. I was like, the way she's sobbing right now, like, what happened?
She just went outside, and then he was like, "Hey, do you want grits or something?" And all of a sudden, it was just like.
Get me out of here!
Slave cry.
And it was because the dog got killed. Which again, very sad, very fucked up. Leave it. Like, leave them alone when you break into the house. Just get what you need to get.
Probably trying to attack. Yeah,
could have been. It probably was trying to attack. But
it died in the line of duty.
White people again, they really. Hell, he didn't have that reaction when she was having that reaction. So he's like,
most abusers wouldn't. Because that nigga crazy.
Yeah,
he is.
So we talked about the sleeping arrangements more and no fornication before marriage and her mom being there. You know, they wake up, he makes some eggs and toast and shit. And then he proposes an accidental threesome to her and her mother. This is when he tells us he wished he could drug her mother so that he could bring her to his room. And essentially they both gang up on him and tell him that they won't go look at houses in gated communities if she's going to be living there. And I can imagine when he put it the way that he put it, where he was like, there's no fucking way. Like, I can't afford what they are talking about. I'm sure that's no different than somebody moving here and being like, I want to go look at brownstones for us to possibly move to. And it's like...
Like, me too. I too would like to look at one.
Let's go look all day.
Yes. Okay.
But they are insistent with the crime that she must live in a gated community.
Yeah. Now, a part of me was on her side. Just a small part. Because I understand culture and moving to a different country and all that good stuff. But that also doesn't give license to excuse away safety. You should be able to live safely in your own native country. Minus me. You know what I mean? Like, he should not be getting robbed every time the lights get shut out. You know what I mean? And I understand that I am man and I make the decisions, and he probably doesn't have a lot of money to move all that, and he's put all this money in his current house. But you can't expect for somebody to uproot their entire life to come there and just not feel safe, not
yeah.
And she made it a point was like, it's not the fact that me walking down the street. I get it. That's anywhere. I could be in Arizona and walk down the street and get mugged. Mm-hmm. But now you're telling me I can't be safe in my own home, and that's where I have a big problem.
That's valid, but I think we need to. You also
She also don't need to move to no fucking
she don't need to move nowhere outside of her mother's home, because it is clear that she needs around the clock care. What?
You didn't watch Young, Famous, and African, right?
No, you made me watch a clip, and
you have to watch it. It is great Black African programming. And the reason why I bring it up now is because it's set in South Africa. And so there is it's interesting watching poor white people compared to rich, young Africans. It's Africa. It's very
well, I love
nice.
Seeing rich young people.
It is mind you,
until
it's
they start adopting ridiculous white ways, and then I'm like, skirt, keep yourself grounded, Naisha. but
no.
I will attempt another.
I think you would enjoy it. I think you would enjoy it.
Okay.
I haven't watched season 2 yet, but I want you to watch season 1. And you don't have to take notes. Just casually watch it, because you're gonna have questions. Well, comments.
What's the one?
Because the Netflix.
Netflix is the only fucking app that be because the way my TV is set up. It's like I do everything through Apple TV, but the only thing I can do through Apple TV is Netflix. And I got to go on the Netflix on the TV because it's a smart TV. So I got to go on the Netflix on the TV.
Why doesn't it work on your TV?
I don't know. It's like, go to your TV provider for your Netflix. So I have to go to because Netflix is built into the TV. So I have to go to that one to watch Netflix on a different input. But then if I want to watch, but then I can watch everything else on Apple TV. It's dumb as fuck.
That's weird.
It's frustrating.
That's super weird. What do you have, an LG?
Yeah. Huh. In the bedroom. I have a Samsung in the front.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know why it does that.
But anyway, I'll watch it. I'll try to watch it. Attempt.
Yeah. Anywho, that was them.
Yeah. He's going to slut shame her in the next episode again.
Oh, yes, again, because I feel like he has a kink about that, because that's his favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was them. Let's move on to Julio and Kirsten. Julio and her eyebrows bother me.
Oh, Dutch Brookshields.
Yeah, Dutch Barbie. Willkommen Barbie. So they're continuing on their typical New York City nigga date. They boned in the hotel room, and they're enjoying some time in Central Park before they drive out to Long Island, where he tells his mother finally that he's moving to the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. So Kirsten didn't really know anything about the dynamic between him and his mother, and if she's told him or not or whatever, or he's told her or not. And she finds out that he's been hiding a girlfriend. And she feels bad because she was like, you put me in a really fucked up situation. Like, I'm going to meet your mother for the first time. She's going to think that I'm put this weird spell on you for taking you away. Like, why are you hiding that? That's so fucking weird. And it's even weird because we were on FaceTime with her when we were living together, and you were like, oh, that's my friend, and trying to hide me. Like, that's weirdo behavior. And his response was like, I just gotta know if you're the one. Real, like, men, it's either shit or get off the pot kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anywho, they, and I get it. He's torn between his mother and his lover, right? Not in the sense of romantic love, but he feels responsible And I thought he was the only child, but he's not. He got 2 other siblings who is right there in there. Because I'm thinking,
well,
this
I
is bad
what
because
was happening. He's his mother's favorite, and it's clear.
Yeah, he's even the favorite. And so I felt him on that regard. Because I remember my mother had a conversation with me about moving back to New York. And she was like, just don't leave me. And I was like, girl, like, I understand if push comes to shove, like, yes, you would have to come with me or whatever. But you have your own life here. Like, family is like, you're not dying.
You're not.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what did you think was
like,
going to happen?
think,
we were going to live one big happy family for the rest of our lives. And furthermore, his mother knows him. Because when he asked her, are you surprised that it's somebody from another country? She was like, no. All that traveling he did, and I'm sure she's known from jump that he likes white girls. So.
Yeah. Get into the crib.
Oof.
His mother is very, she phony. But in the nicest way. She's like, okay, hello, okay, bonita.
Made you dinner, bitch.
Right. So, they eating dinner, he tells her. She's like, how can I go on? Like,
and this is exactly what Dutch Brooke Shields was worried about. She was concerned because she was like, so you gonna wait until, first of all, you just told her about me, and then you gonna wait till I'm here to tell her that you moving to the Netherlands? She's gonna look at me immediately and think it's my fault. And as soon as she busted into tears, she looked at old girl. She didn't say it was her fault, not initially, but she was she was distraught. And you know why I think it was? My own logic and reasoning. She knows her son. So she knows this nigga is getting ready to go over to the Netherlands and create an entire new identity. And he will disown his family and never be back again.
Yeah.
I told you he's about
to I agree with that theory.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. He's going from Julio Estevez or whatever to like Julio Christopoulos.
So he's about to be, and then he's going to be Giovanni or some shit like that. Like
Giovanni Christopoulos. Yeah. He is about to, I am from Crete.
Yep.
Like he is going to be transracial.
In the sun, he is. He's about to create an entire new identity, and I think that's why his mother is so distraught, because she knows.
Because she knows.
I see the twinkle in his eye.
He ready to jump ship. That was him.
Yeah. The brothers don't know what to do. They're just sitting there
and eating their rice,
eating their stew chicken and their tostones, and they have nothing to say. But again, they know that their brother is the favorite, and they also know that they may never see him again. So we'll see what happens next week.
Okay. TJ and Kimberly, who I have labeled, her name is Nikki Cross.
Oh, gentlemen. Nikki Cross.
When you look up who Nikki Cross is, you're gonna be like, they look exactly alike.
How did I know it was another fucking wrestler?
Yeah. They do look alike, though.
She does look like her.
She does. Here is another case where I did not want to defend a white woman, but I was on Mama's side this whole time. Even how she communicated it. So, it's moving day. She is packing or talking about her lack of involvement in the wedding. She was like, oh, I let a man up to doing this. Oh, I'm so nervous. It's like, you should be, queen.
Yeah, you should.
Her daddy came in to save the day with the duct tape because Mama was struggling.
Broke her suitcase.
With her suitcase. Her dad is fun. He makes dad jokes on the way to the airport.
They're
of
cute,
course,
actually. Their relationship is
yeah.
very cute. And apparently, so what we do learn in the midst of all of this daughter-daddy joking, the first time she went to India, because remember she spent a year. So the first time she went, she was very ready to go when she left. It was like, whoo, okay, that's done. I get to get back to my friends and my family and da-da-da-da. So that right there already gave me a quick little flag that I don't know how this is going to go, because you weren't really hype about staying there. You were very hype about leaving. And then obviously her continued concerns about the cultural aspect of them all living together as one family.
Yeah, her concern is, they, living on top of one another. I don't know them like that, and they don't know me. And she brings up the fact that she grew up in a large family, and that could just, having a small space is just super chaotic.
She also,
and
self-proclaimed a lack of patience. So
yes, necessary, right? So she on the way to the airport though, TJ keeps saying the shit that Rishi said and Sumit said, that she'll learn to be a traditional Indian wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the moment those words are uttered out of your mouths is when shit goes left. They're gonna have to figure that shit out for themselves. They're not gonna learn, honestly. Because it sounds like they'll learn. I'll make them learn. No, it's not gonna work. They have to be there has to be a will there, right?
Yeah.
And so far, I feel like the will is there. It's just, I don't know. Well, they, yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so she's en route, and she's doing all of her travels. This takes about 2 days for her to get to India. So he's driving on his way to the airport to go pick her up. She finally is landing. Did you notice this nigga don't know how to stay in his own lane?
No.
Oh, can't drive for shit. I said he's going to cause many accidents because he be veering, and he gets all into his conversation with production.
He drives with his emotions.
He does.
He is a very emotional nigga. Like, he is emotional.
Which we should have known from that voiceover session, but
yeah.
So
TJ a little sassy.
They get there, happy greetings, wedding talk. It seems like all the nerves go out the window. She's really, really just very happy to see him. They're very much in love. They're not really supposed to show a lot of affection at the airport, but it's endearing. It's sweet what they do show. We also learned that the last time she lived in India, that she had to bathe with a bucket and boil her hot water when she wanted to bathe with hot water. So she is concerned about that aspect, and the aspect of all his family dwelling together. So we learned the sleeping arrangements of TJ's family. So apparently his parents got into a fight like 2 decades ago and have never slept together since. They all live in a 1-bedroom home, I believe. And so him and his brother alternate between sleeping with his mom, and his father sleeps on the floor in the living room.
And I don't know where the other one sleeps.
Isn't it? It's just one brother.
As well. Remember, it's 2 of them. So where does the other? There's 4 people in a house at a time.
That's what
so where does the other one sleep?
When they alternate between the mom's bed, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
But that is the current sleeping arrangements, and he said, if you have a big heart, then it doesn't matter how many people are in a room, because your heart is big enough to love them all.
That sounds like some shit my mother would say. And no. Because my mother wants all of us to live in like this big mansion or on the same block. And every time they bring up this in family meetings or whatever, like, no, that's a horrible idea. I don't even want to. Anyway.
My mother tries to shame me for not staying with her when I visit her, and I continue to just be very clear that I never will.
I'm not. Like, my mother argued me tooth and nail about staying in a hotel or her staying here. I'm like, boundaries. Love you down. Like,
I told Mama, I said I will see you in the morning.
You.
I'll come to your house when I wake up. We'll be at lunch. We'll go to dinner. I'll see you before I go back to go to bed. I'm coming to see you. But, homegirl, there needs to be a couple hours of separation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she gets there, and she gets to the home, and she gives them a bunch of Werthers and a bunch of other woo-woo gifts, like wind chimes and shit, and they're just like, oh, that's nice, that's great.
She came wearing gifts.
Right, so they're all excited to see her and stuff. We don't talk wedding talk yet, but she is excited and mortified to see this apartment. And he's all goofy and happy, like, oh my God, baby, I'm so excited. Woohoo, count down the steps, count down the steps. Woohoo, Betty's a cream, Betty's a cream.
Stop it.
And she gets upstairs, and every look is like a dart to like something is wrong. And like a dart to something's wrong. And she's very like, okay. So walk me through the process here. Because I had the same thought too. I'm like, walk me through it. Are we not? What's happening? He was like, yeah, it's just about done. There's just only 2 things missing. Major things. So like the bathroom. And I hated that he used this too. Because I was like, that's fucked up and don't ever do that again. So they have like a 1-bedroom apartment. And in the ensuite or the bathroom, it's connected. The way she designed it was for that there's supposed to be a wall on the outside in the common area where the kitchen is and a bathroom door in their bedroom, right? Mm-hmm. What TJ decided to do was to eliminate the door between the bedroom and the bathroom and put a door where there is leading from the kitchen to the bathroom, which goes directly into the shower. Mm-hmm. And the issue is they don't have any windows because the window guy is in the hospital. Yeah. And he felt bad to contact oh boy to get him out of bed to install the window. Cool. But the window opening sees directly through the bedroom and has a clear view of somebody shitting on the toilet.
Toilet. I mean, like straight through railroad vision.
Yeah, like, bam! You don't even need binoculars or anything. It's right there. And
then she gets up on some apparatus. Maybe it's a counter, and she notices that all the doors are at different heights.
Yeah, that bothered me too.
Like 3 different doors. 3 different size doorways, which the first thing that came to my mind was, how do you purchase doors? Like, do they custom make doors for each doorway? Like, how does this work?
And that seems way more expensive to me than just doing it all one uniform.
I will say, in the effort of saying something nice, the doors that were in the apartment were nice doors.
Fabulous doors.
Yeah, I enjoyed them. I was like, well, I mean, if we're going to end up looking like this, I'm not mad at it.
Right. She was pointing out, like, they just gave up on, like,
they said fuck a measuring tape. What do you mean? Yeah, they just start cutting holes in walls.
It was vibes.
It was vibes.
The sink was on the outside of the bathroom.
I wonder what happens if I cut a doorway with my feet. So...
Yeah. And I hate bathrooms that have the sink outside because my bathroom was like that in my apartment. And she had a fit. She's like, no, that's not going to work for me. Like, the baseboards were they just said, fuck it.
It was
and
half.
it was just like, yeah. And he has the nerve to say, well, you know, in India, this is just how we live. She was like, you mean to tell me in India, you just have people looking clear in the way of you just sitting on the toilet?
She's like, and you mean to tell me in India, when a nigga is paid to do a job, he not supposed to finish it right?
Right? She was upset because he kept trying her intelligence. And she was like, this is the problem here.
And he was like, well, now that you're here, you can oversee everything. And they have a giant big blowout. He's like, don't marry me. Like, he was very quick to throw that out there. I didn't like that.
I did not like that.
Yeah, it was and I know his family heard everything that was going on.
Because they live on top of each other.
Yeah, and if there ain't no windows, there damn sure ain't no door in between.
The whole block and their cows heard it.
Oh yeah. Okay? Oh yeah.
And she argues like a white woman too. She's very much like, she was very clear, but she was just like, you're not being a very supportive partner and blah 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 blah. And it was just like,
she's like, you're being a dick, and he's like, mind your mouth. And I was like,
oh yeah, she said you're being a dick.
So?
He was being a dick though.
He was being a dick.
And he got super sensitive. He don't do curses well. Mm-hmm. And he was like, it's like you called his mama like a snake or something.
Yeah, who you calling a bitch? It's like you cooked onions and garlic in the crib.
Exactly. But that was them this week. We have much more to come. A lot more xenophobias and other isms along the way that comes with this show. Until next time.
To see this Indian wedding. Can't fucking wait for that.
Same. Until next time. Bye.